Is the Canon PowerShot SX740 HS worth buying in 2019? Well, in this video, we're going to be discussing that. What's going on, everyone? This is Kevin here from Camera Review Pro, and in this video, I'm going to be telling you everything that I know about the Canon PowerShot SX740 HS after owning it for about 7 months. Now, this device was released about a year ago, last summer, and I'm expecting that probably in several months from now, we will be seeing a successor to it. And I'm guessing that device will be called the SX750 HS. Now, I've seen no rumors so far about the successor to this device. I mean, for all I know, maybe it won't even be released this year, but I'm expecting it because we've pretty much seen the same annual release schedule for the predecessors to this device. Now, the point here is that since I know nothing about what's going to be coming up after this, I can't really make a recommendation on whether or not you should hold off on buying this and waiting for the successor. Generally, the way that I go about buying things is that I look at what's best at the moment, and I don't wait for upcoming devices just because you never know what kind of delays might be coming out. And like I said, we literally don't know what features will be added to the successor of this camera. Now, at the moment, you can get the Canon PowerShot SX740 HS for $399. It's certainly possible that at the time that you're watching this video, the price has gone down, as it's pretty common for prices to go down on devices as they age. So you'll have to take a look on your own to see what it's currently being offered for. One of the most sought after features with this device is its 3-inch flip-up LCD display. So if you're a vlogger, or if you do any sort of video where you're filming yourself, this is likely going to be a very valuable feature to you because you can literally flip up the display here and you can see how you are in the frame. You can see whether or not you're cut off or if you're in the middle of the frame. Having this screen really saves you a lot of potential hassle, and you'll be a lot more confident when you're making your videos just because you know that you're definitely inside of the field of view. The flip-up screen was originally introduced in the predecessor to this device, which is the SX730 HS. So this is the second generation of having this flip-up screen. Prior to the SX730 HS, we had the SX720 HS, and it did not have a flip-up screen. So that was something people were begging for Canon to introduce to the series of cameras. So it's great to see that they've continued to offer the 3-inch flip-up LCD display with the 740 HS. Now, unfortunately, this is not a touchscreen. This is a traditional non-touch display. But the good thing is that pretty much for all functions of this camera, you really don't need a touchscreen at all. You can easily access all of those different functions using the dial here on the right and the various buttons on the device. So, in my opinion, on other devices such as the G7X that I've used in the past, I think it's kind of more of a gimmick to have a touchscreen on the device because it's something that you really won't be using that often. And especially if you're filming outdoors, it's really a lot easier just to use the buttons that are on the device rather than touchscreen buttons. So it's certainly not a deal breaker for me, but if it did have a touchscreen on it, I certainly would consider that to be an upgrade. And I wouldn't be surprised actually if the successor to this device, the SX750 HS, does have a touchscreen on the display. But again, I've seen no evidence of that being implemented in the next version of this device. The SX740 HS is offered in 2 different colors, silver, which you can see here, and black. So one of the new things that came along with the SX740 HS is that in the silver version of the camera here, we have this kind of tan padding here. In other versions of this camera in the past, it's been silver as well. So it's kind of a cool accent here and really just a cosmetic thing. It has nothing to do with the actual performance of the camera itself. With this camera, we have 4 different shooting modes. The 4K at 30 frames per second option is new to the SX740 HS. The previous version, the SX730 HS, only offered 1080p at 60 FPS as the maximum. Of course, we still have that as an option with this camera, but for the first time ever, we have 4K video recording. You also have the option to film in 1080p at 30 FPS, and you can also film in 720p at 60 FPS if you choose to do that. So we have these 4 different options here. It looks like there is no 720p at 30 FPS. So that's kind of unfortunate, but at least we have all these other great options. Now keep in mind though that 4K is only useful if you have a computer that can edit 4K easily. Generally, for most people, unless you're really a film director, which I don't even know why you'd be using this camera, if that's the case, you probably don't even need to be filming in 4K. 1080p is really your best option because you're going to get the best performance when editing, and your rendering times when exporting your video are going to be much quicker at 1080p versus 4K. But I am really happy though to see that 4K is offered with this camera, as 4K really is the future. So at least you know that if you're going to be keeping this camera for quite some time, that as you upgrade your computer in the future, you're going to be able to edit 4K more easily, and this device won't be obsolete quite as fast due to it having 4K shooting. I already know that there's going to be a few people watching this video that have this question, so I'm going to answer it right now. There is no external microphone input on this device. So you're going to have to go with the built-in microphone, which is located on the top here. And if you're not happy with that, then you're going to have to find some sort of external solution that can record to its own audio recording device. Now, of course, if you go that route, you can always sync up your audio later on in your video editor, but there is no input jack here on the device where it can directly take in audio from your microphone and mix it in with the original video file. Now, the lens here is certainly one of the highlights of the device. With the SX740HS, you're getting 4x optical zoom. That is incredible. I'm very impressed with that zooming ability here. You can really zoom in far. It is really insane that this lens fits in this relatively small body here. And this is going to be especially useful when you're doing different things like going on trips and trying to take photos of things that are far away. Also, if you're a vlogger, you might want to mix up your various vlogging scenes by filming things that are a distance away. So essentially, having this massive lens on the camera is something that you cannot find with any smartphone out on the market. Now, a lot of people question, why do you need a device like this when you can just use your iPhone to film video? And this is the exact reason why you'd want to get this over just using your iPhone or smartphone to film video, is because those devices do not have a lens that is capable of 40x optical zoom. This lens is comparable to a wide-angle 24mm lens, so if that's something that's important to you, then there you go. With this camera, we have autofocus, which is great. That's something that should be expected with this. It features 9-point autofocus, which is relatively decent. I mean, I've seen other cameras such as the G7X that have 30-point autofocus, so not quite as good of autofocus with this device, but certainly if you're going to be filming a vlog, or if you're going to be filming a close-up, maybe a product or something, who knows what you make video for. But just know that if autofocus is important to you, then you're going to be able to use it on this device with no problem. Now keep in mind that on other devices that feature touchscreens, it's pretty common that you'll just tap on the display to focus in. Now you can't do that with this device since it does not have a touchscreen display, so just keep that in mind. So you do get auto white balance with this device, and you can also customize it as you wish, but you can also switch to other preset white balance options such as daylight, shade, cloudy, tungsten light, white fluorescent, and of course custom. So if you're going to be filming in an environment where maybe you have studio lights or something like that, then I'd definitely recommend doing custom because the lighting is not going to be changing throughout the time that you're filming. Now, if you're going out and vlogging outdoors, then I think you probably would want to use auto white balance because the white balance situation that you're going to be in is always going to be changing. The Canon PowerShot SX740HS has some pretty cool connectivity options. So you can connect this with Wi-Fi, NFC, and Bluetooth. So you can actually pair this up with the Canon app on your smartphone. Now let me know in the comment section below if you'd like me to make a video on how to do that, as it's pretty cool. But essentially you can control this entire camera with your phone. So that can be really useful if you want to take a photo from a remote distance. Essentially your phone would be like a remote. But also if you're filming yourself, then being able to use the app to control the camera can be really helpful so that you don't have to keep getting up and doing stuff with the camera and then sitting down. Now we're getting a 20.3 megapixel sensor with CMOS technology. We're also getting optical image stabilization, and we also get zoom framing assist. Now the optical image stabilization is a 5-axis stabilization, so that's pretty cool to see. And generally you're going to get good stabilization with this device. Now, if you are zooming really far in, then it's going to be really tough for even the stabilization that's built into here to stabilize your shot. So if you're really going to use that 40x optical zoom, then you're probably going to want to use a tripod or just have a really steady hand. But even for someone like me who has a lot of experience with filming videos, it's still really tough to keep a stable shot at 40x optical zoom. And another thing I wanted to mention too is that there is no support for RAW files with this device. When you take photos with the device, it's going to be making them into JPEG images, so there's no RAW file support at all. But for the average user, that's literally not going to be a problem. but I just wanted to mention that. Now that we've gone over the specifications of the Canon PowerShot SX740 HS, I'd like to go over the hardware here. So we already went over this. This is the 3-inch flip-up LCD display. It is a really nice, firm display here. Essentially, you can put this at any angle you want, and you don't have to worry about it falling over or tilting when you don't want it to tilt. Then on the right side here, we have a variety of different buttons. We have the connectivity button. We have this button here, which does the change subject size. We have a wheel here with a variety of different options, so we can do the set in the middle, and you can set a variety of different settings here. You can do things such as the style settings, the audio, the auto light optimizer, the miniature effect movie, the video snapshot. I mean, there's a ton of different options here. It's insane. We have a button on the right side here to set the flash. So you can do auto flash, flash on, and flash off. You can leave that on auto. Now, of course, if you're filming video, that doesn't really matter at all. We also have options here on the left side for manual focus. So if you want to do that, you can tap on that button. We also have a button here on the bottom for info, so you can show more info or remove that info, or to show a little bit of info. Then on the top here, we have this little button that gives you access to a bunch of different manual settings. On the bottom right here, we have the menu button, which takes you into the main menu. We also have the play button, so you can play content that you've recorded with the device. Then on the top, we have the flash, which is activated by the button on the left here. So that flash just comes right up. If you want to put that back down, you can easily just snap it back into place. We have the speaker and microphone here on the top. We have the on-off button. We have the toggle here for the zoom. We have the video record button, and we have the dial for the various shooting modes. So of course you can do the dedicated video mode. There's a bunch of other modes here. We have auto, so if you don't want to worry about any sort of manual settings, you can switch it to that. We have full manual as well. So there's really something for everyone. So it depends on what you're trying to do with this camera, but there's probably a mode for you. Then on the front here, of course, we have 40x optical zoom labeled right there. SX740 HS here on the bottom corner. Canon logo. We have the grip here, and we have this sensor here, which is for the focusing. On the right side, we have this door here that says USB and HDMI. When you open that up, you can see that there is a micro USB port and a micro HDMI port. Then on the bottom, we have a tripod mount. I really like how this is metal, so you don't have to worry about it getting frayed over time. We have a door here for the card and battery. I'll leave my recommendation for an SD card in the video description. And then we have the battery here. So this battery is the Canon NB13L. Now this is the same battery that's used with the G7X. So if you already have a G7X, which I don't know why you'd have that because it's a better camera than this one. But if you do happen to have that, or if you want to buy some of these batteries, you can pick them up really cheap. There's also third-party solutions out there for these batteries, so you can get an even bigger discount on them. But I just want to let you know what battery comes with the device, so there's a ton of these out there, so that's not an issue at all. In fact, I have 3 of these batteries, so I don't have to worry about running out of battery at any time, as they're always all juiced up and ready to be used. Here is the box for the device. It's very similar to the box actually for the 730 HS, so they don't really change much from year to year. That's good. It's more of an evolution rather than a complete revamp. In the box, of course, in addition to the actual camera itself, you're going to be getting the battery, which is in the camera right now. You're going to be getting this lanyard here, which is really useful so you don't accidentally drop the camera. You're going to be getting some literature here. And you're going to be getting a wall charger for the battery. So is the Canon PowerShot SX740 HS worth buying in 2019? I really do think it is worth it. I think the main reason for why it's worth it is because of its price tag. Even at its MSRP, it's really competitive. I feel like you get really a great camera for your money. Definitely having that 4K video is a huge plus with this camera. And because it takes 4K video, I think when you buy this, you're going to be really confident that it's going to be relevant and not obsolete for quite some time. 4K really is the future. Of course, more and more TVs coming out are 4K, and more people are watching YouTube in 4K. So if that's where you're planning on uploading your videos, then you're definitely going to be getting some use out of that 4K feature. Now, like I mentioned, your computer might not be powerful enough to edit 4K video, but in the future, I'm sure you're going to be getting a different computer that's more powerful and more optimized for 4K editing. And even if your computer isn't the best out there, you're still going to be able to edit 4K video. It's just going to take a lot longer. As far as when the successor for this device is going to come out and what features it's going to have, I literally have nothing to say. I have no rumors that I've heard or anything like that, but there really aren't too many things that I think need to be improved with this device. maybe a touchscreen on the back, and maybe just a little bit better of a sensor in the camera and a better processor. But besides that, I can't think of much else I'd like to see improved with the camera. So I want to know what you think. Can you see yourself buying the Canon PowerShot SX740 HS? Do you already have one? And do you think this is a good option for 2019? I really want to know your thoughts in the comment section below. But thank you so much everybody for watching this video. This is Kevin here from Camera Review Pro. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next video.